All right, welcome to another edition of the Fan Film Podcast. It is March 21st, 2009, episode 39.
Did you line these interviews up before you went there?
I'll tell you what I did. I lined up the Phil Morris, and I lined up Trevor Ruff, and that was it. Trevor, we'll talk about Phil Morris later. That's a whole other kettle of fish later on. That was just mind blowing. I couldn't believe that. That was like the coolest thing ever because I'm the hugest Smallville fan ever. I'm such a huge Smallville fan.
Yeah.
And to literally be sitting next to Martian Manhunter, I was like, holy crap, dude! I was like shaking. You could have seen me. Like I wasn't like like a girl. I was tremoring. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this. I said to him at the beginning of the interview, I was like, I'm like, I can't believe this is real. He's like, he touched me on my shoulder and went, it is, brother, it is for real. Trust me. And I was like, oh wow, that is so cool. Like I thought the little 2-year-old. I was such a fanboy. I was just like, wow, Martian Manhunter. And he was wearing a Martian Manhunter t-shirt as well. I got a picture of him, Lance. I'd like you to post with this broadcast. Me chilling with Martial Manhunter. Wow. He was drunk. Let's get on. Let's get on with this rambling wreck.
Okay.
We're
done, right? Peter Laird was the last one, and we already called.
Peter Laird was last. Yeah, that was it. But we'll get to him obviously later because he's one of the last guys. But Saturday was kind of like I guess you call it kind of like a loosey-goosey day. It was kind of like going around the floor, and then at that point, the guests were the general public were admitted, so you had to make your way through seas of people, and there was a lot of people. Saturday was brutal. It was really bad. But the whole day I was thinking, I'm going to meet Phil Morris. I'm going to meet Phil Morris later. I'm going to meet Phil Morris. I just kept thinking about it. And then I got the call from his representative, and she said, oh, Mr. Morris will meet you in another hour upstairs in the so-and-so room. So I'm saying to myself, okay, let me putz around a while before we meet up Phil Morris. So I'm walking around, I'm buying comics, toys, making my girlfriend suffer.
Well, that's a given.
She was taking photos for us, which you'll see with the next update. But we were just doing our thing Saturday, and finally when we got the call, could you come meet us upstairs in the DC green room? I felt all cool and important. So you gotta come upstairs to the DC green room, it's called. Okay, I shit you not. I went to this supposed DC green room, to the exact location that I was told to go. I went there like a bullet. I went up there. And I got there, and I'm looking, there's nothing there. I'm asking guys in the hallway, security people, do you know where the DC green? I don't even know what you're talking about. I was getting mad. And I'm like, what the fuck? So, the minutes are ticking down to our interview, and I'm thinking, oh, no, I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose this interview. I'm going to lose it. And I was freaking out. And then I called his representative up again, nice lady. I gave her a call, and I said, I can't find the room. Where is the room? She said, you know what, don't feel bad. We can't find it either. So they didn't even know where the fuck they were going. So we're both running around in circles, like, where is this fucking place? And then finally she makes it there, and she's like, oh, I got it. It's up here by so-and-so. I said, oh, it's all the way at the end of the convention. I had to run, because I was going to be late. I had to run, and I'm not exactly fit. And I had to run over there as fast as I could with 1,000 pounds of cameras and comics and microphones and all kinds of shit swinging around my cock. Things swinging around.
Your boys were swinging back and forth.
My cock and nuts. And I got there, and I said, are you guys upstairs on the floor? He's like, yeah, fourth floor. I said, thank you, God. So I'm looking and go to the elevator, and there's like this rope in the way. And I'm saying, please, oh no, please don't make me have to wait. please. And I said, I have to get in there. I clearly had the press pass on me, around my neck. I have to get in there. I have an interview upstairs. He said, okay, you're just going to have to wait a minute. And he was on the fucking walkie-talkie with some douchebag. I don't know who the fuck it was. Probably his mother. So I was on the fucking walkie-talkie.
Are you calling his mother a douchebag?
I am. I'm going that far. He annoyed me. Seriously. I was getting really pissed off because he was making me sit there. And I'm like, I literally said, you know what? Fuck this. And you know those like movie theater rope things they have to keep you in the line or whatever?
Yeah.
I went under that. Defiantly, because I was mad. I went under it, and my book bag...
How'd you get your body under that?
My book bag hit it, and the whole thing fucking fell. It was so embarrassing. It was like, blang, and the whole thing fell down, and then, like, one of the guys looked at me, well, you're a smooth mover, and yeah, you were fucking funny, Wolfman Jack, because I had, like, a big burly dude who said it. Yeah. I was really pissed off, because I was all sweaty and agitated. And I'm like, yeah, nice comment. Again, nice hat. And I said something else I'm not going to repeat, but I basically made him feel bad. And probably made my way to the elevator and made my way up to
Did he go home to his parents' basement and cry?
He definitely did. And the thing is, that's sad, he's been living there a lot longer than I have.
And he's 45.
A lot longer.
Anyways.
So, anyway, I get up to the fourth floor, and I'm all sweaty, and I can barely breathe. And she's like, we're in room C, whatever, at 14. So I ran up there, got in there. And I see her, and she's like, oh, Mr. Morris is kind of lost, too. He's making his way over here. So I sit down. She kind of gave me, like, a pre-interview thing. She's like, how's your say? What do you guys do exactly? And I told her, and I said, it's mostly about fan films, but I'm also a huge Smallville fan, as is my co-host and all that stuff. I said I do a radio show, and I'd be very interested to talk to Mr. Morris, because I love his character in Smallville. I think his work is fantastic. I think it's like an honor to talk to somebody like that, because he only doesn't do that. He also does all kinds of other movies he's done. He's done Star Trek. He's been in several Star Trek movies. I don't know if you noticed that, Chris.
Yeah.
So he made his Hollywood debut was on an old episode of the original Star Trek, the original series.
Really?
It was his first ever. I think he was 10, if I remember right, doing my homework on Mr. Morris. And I guess he already made his first appearance on a Star Trek. And ironically, years later, he ended up appearing in a couple of the films as kind of like a red shirt, I guess, in the background. Mm-hmm. But he was in several other Star Trek-related projects, which I thought was awesome. And I looked at his old body of work, and my God, this guy worked. I looked at it, I'm going to say, okay, let me get a better idea of who I'm talking to. I know he's working in Smallville, but I don't know any of his previous stuff, really. So let me take a look at this guy. So I went to IMDb, and I printed it out. That shit would not stop printing. It was like, I was like, wow. And I saw all these things. He was even in, believe it or not, an episode of Webster. I had to bring that up just for a joke.
Emmanuel Lewis.
I said, I also noticed you're on the sheet, you were on an episode of Webster, and he was like, he kind of laughed, and he was like, yeah, that was me. And he was also on an episode of Blossom where he played Moses.
Jeez.
He brought that up, too. He must have hated me for doing it.
You gotta love IMDb.
He's probably like, son of a bitch. Now everybody's going to go with you to me as Moses. But seriously, you couldn't have asked for a cooler guy. He was fantastic. He was such a cool dude.
When you left here, you were hurt pretty badly. How'd you heal so fast?
I just had to leave the Earth's atmosphere. But in my absence, it appears you did exactly what Jor-El was trying to prevent.
I unleashed a carbon copy of myself. Only without my
humanity.
What was I supposed to do? Let him kill every host he inhabited?
That is one of the hardest trials you will face, Kal-El. While your humanity is your greatest strength, it is also your greatest vulnerability.
Well, it's part of who I am. And it's who I want to be. I'm proud that I was raised to care about people, and I am not going to apologize for it anymore.
I know. But this creature was discarded at birth as a poor imitation. He was shown no compassion, no conscience. Therefore, he has none. He knows only one thing. Survival.
How do I stop someone who has all my powers and none of my weaknesses?
By opening your eyes to what you take for granted every day. Your faith in humans is not the only thing that gives you strength.
It's a yellow sun. That's why his face distorted when he got into the light.
That may be the only way to defeat him. I can help. But it is your battle.
So I'm sitting at the table waiting otherwise, and, I'm done talking to the lady, and I see him, and he goes to me, there he is. I'm thinking to myself, there he is. You're saying that to me? Like, what? And he comes over to me, and he says, like a regular dude. He's got a Martian Manhunter t-shirt on, scarf around his neck, just chilling. And, hey, brother, how you doing? He gave me a handshake, and I said, he stuttered immediately. I was like, because people have stuttering problems under times of duress, they stutter worse. So I was agitated about trying to get there to him. At the same time, I was very nervous because, wow, there he is, And I said, oh, man, it's such an honor, sir, to meet you. And he's like, oh, come on, man. The honors all mine. Please, come on. Just sit down, man. Relax. And I said, oh, please. So I sat down, and you can probably tell at the beginning of the interview I'm a little high-strung. I'm a little kind of high-pitched.
No.
I'm like, oh, sorry, nice to meet you. So I suddenly put my balls in a vice. And so he was just like, all right, man. I was just like, so I got some question for you, about Smallville and your own project you got coming up. So you have a feature film coming up. And I said, I'm here to talk about that. And I was like, hey, man, what are those questions on me? By the way, Mom. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm talking to you. And like I said before, he put his hand on my shoulder. He said, you are, man, you are.
Okay, this man needs no introduction, but I'm here with Phil Morris, star of TV Smallville, where he plays the Martian Manhunter. Say hello to us, Phil Morris.
How you doing, William? Good to see you, brother.
Doing good, man. All right, start from the top, obviously. First of all, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm a huge fan of your work, as I said earlier. Let's start from the top, The Emissary. Can you tell us a little bit about the show's inception and your role in its development?
Emissary came up, oddly enough, after another convention. I was in Atlanta at Dragon Con, and met a buddy there we had mutual friends. His name's Decker Dreyer. He's kind of a young producer. Does a lot of anime stuff.
That's a cool name.
He's a good guy, very smart guy. What I've learned about this world is that a lot of the people that are in it are incredibly intelligent, incredibly insightful. They have a quest for knowledge and a great passion for the imagination that is rivaled by no other fan base in the world.
And then we get ridiculed, too.
But because people don't understand it. They're outside of it and not inside of it, and they don't get it.
Silly suit jumping around.
You're right. And, with what I do in the world as an actor, I'm the last person to ridicule anybody for their expression of their passions. I respect and honor all these fans. At any rate, because of that, Decker had come to me about a week after we had done Dragon Con, and I was finishing up an episode of Smallville. And he said, I'm pitching some ideas around, and I told some people that I had met you, and they want to know what we have. What do we have? I go, we don't have anything yet, but I'll come up with something in about a week.
Really?
And in the next day, I came up with something that was, and I'm going to tell you the honest story. I came up with this detective thing, and he emailed me back. He went, let's see. The last thing I want to do is another effing boring, cooler than hell African-American detective. Let's come up with something else.
This is going back to the day, remember, what was his name? Hawk? Remember that? Remember Hawk? Hawk was the shit. He was just the cool, he just showed up with his bald head and his goatee.
Right, man, and sunglasses.
And his silver 45. He wasn't taking any shit from anybody.
Incredible. So, we leave that genre alone.
Right.
So what we came up with was a show called Emissary that is a cross really between kind of the Bourne Identity and Indiana Jones.
Oh, like them both. Love them both.
Yeah, we do too. We love the ancient lore of an Indiana Jones and all the codes and secret societies and sects and so forth that they deal with there. We love the grittiness of a Bourne Identity. I am a martial arts student and instructor. I teach a style called Wing Chun Kung Fu. I've never been able to reveal it in my work as an actor. I've been an actor for 30 years, and never have I revealed it. In this show, Emissary, I will reveal all of my skills. And the Emissary, ultimately, the show is about a man named Campbell Essex, who I play, who lives and works in New York City. He's an anthropologist who works out of the American Museum of Natural History. He is an archaeologist, an entomologist, he's an ethnologist, all the ologists he is. Just a brilliant individual who, unbeknownst to him, has become the next in a line of emissaries for humankind. Every 200 years or so, a perfect storm of genetic events takes place, and one of us is selected to be the essential human, the human being that embodies all of what is best in the human species, our better nature, our cognitive abilities, our sensory abilities. They all come into full fruition in this one individual. Could be a man, could be a woman. It's random in its selection. Our show just happens to take place in today's age, and I am the next to become awakened, which is what we call it. And the awakening happens at the age of about 40. You can't be an emissary and be awakened at 12 or 15.
That's an odd age.
Well, it's around 40 because we feel that this emissary needs to have lived a life of maturity and kind of fermenting.
That way they know who they're dealing with. They know who they're dealing with. Right.
And they have no clue that this is who they are going to become.
Right.
So Campbell is no different. He has no clue that around his 40th, 42nd birthday, he's going to become this emissary. Well, there's another faction that does know it. They're called the Plague. And they have been around for over a millennium, searching out and capturing these emissary for their evil master.
There's always got to be the bad side.
It's phenomenal. It really is phenomenal. So if the emissary is the light for humanity, it speaks to our better nature. This Plague and their master, this evil brother, Leith, which is actually a river, a tributary that feeds into the Styx.
Somebody's been doing the research.
Oh, we're so into this because we not only does this need to interest us, we need to be passionate about it, but we know that the people that we're trying to appeal to are mad intelligent. They love the layers of the onion to be peeled away, and there'd be another layer there. You know, they don't want to get to the core of it.
That's not accurate.
No, exactly. And the more dense and the more kind of into the reality that we get to, the better it is. To me, the best science fiction jumps off from reality and then takes a bit of a left turn or a right turn, but we always think it's like it's real, or that it's happened, or I read an article about this in Scientific Monthly or something. So that's the same with the emissary. Hopefully we're grounding it in a firmament that is so real. So Campbell Essex, this anthropologist, is being chased by this Plague, and the Plague was created by this brother who was a member of this order of man who believed in this philosophy of the emissary. A couple of thousand years ago, believed that it was possible for a human being to evolve to this peak essential place. They kind of left the deity thing, the God thing, and decided that mankind was it. Nature was it. They were going to study nature. They were going to study mankind to find the strongest part of our nature. And they find this emissary. They actually find an example of this, and they honor it, they revere it, and then they study and they chronicle the history of these emissaries as they show up every 200 years. So this brother Leith, thinks that he's going to be the next one. Over 1,000 years ago, he thinks he's the one who's going to be... Right. He is not.
Loki.
That's right. He is not the one.
Yeah.
And he snaps.
Yeah.
And he goes to the dark side. And he leaves the Brotherhood.
Perfect setup.
And because I am a martial artist, one of the great legends, not even a legend, it's reality, the Shaolin Temple, which everybody knows about.
I'm just gonna stop it really quick. I'm a gigantic Shaw Brothers fan.
Okay. So you know what I'm
right
saying.
now, you're talking to the right person.
I was either going to wear this shirt or Bruce Lee. At any rate.
Yeah.
The Shaolin Temple has been destroyed many times from inside by brother monks who came in and knew all the secrets, knew all the passageways, and destroyed the temple.
Now, this is true?
This is true.
Really?
In Chinese history, absolutely true.
Wow.
So we have taken that, and Brother Leith comes back and destroys this Brotherhood of Man, kills all the monks, destroys the temple, destroys the history and philosophy of this emissary, so the world never knows. Takes the existing emissary that he finds at the temple, straps him to this contraption, and essentially milks them of all their essence. Then the brother takes the essence, injects himself, and creates an immortal serum. So he becomes an immortal.
Oh boy.
He distills the drug into a powder form and disseminates it through his followers, which is a mind-control drug. And Leith...
Do they get the same power as this?
They have a semblance of that power, and it only lasts for as long as that drug lasts. And it's an unbelievably addictive drug, so their mind is being controlled. It keeps them hooked up, keeps them coming back, wanting more. And Leith's philosophy, because he could not be the light, is that he needs to be the dark. And without the dark, there could be no light. So he truly believes that he is a necessary part of the human puzzle. It's insidious, and every 150 to 200 years, he needs another emissary to milk, to continue his immortal reign. So that's why they're after me. Not necessarily to kill me, but to capture me and milk me like a freaking cow. So that
Should we leave him with anything?
Exactly.
Just keep going.
And he keeps him alive. I mean, just barely alive long enough to keep the essence flowing, But every 150 years, he needs to replenish that source. So I am trying to keep myself safe, as well as find these scrolls that actually tell the history of the emissary, the Brotherhood, and so forth, that were hidden when Brother Leith was destroying the temple. One of the monks took all this history and hid it. And for now hundreds of years, this Leith, this evil brother, has not been able to find these scrolls. And he knows if somebody else finds them, he's done.
Yeah.
Because it chronicles his involvement in destroying the temple and this whole lineage of the emissary, as well as chronicling the history of every emissary that's come since the brothers found them to me. And so I find out about these scrolls, and I'm desperately trying to find these scrolls to show the world that I exist, to prove to myself what my true history is, and to cut this evil Leith off at the pass. So it's a really very interesting show.
It's going into all kinds of genres and history and all the things that are cool and interesting and deep. So it's good. Kung Fu, all that stuff. All that good stuff. Okay, well, I already answered a lot of my top questions here. Okay, so we'll, if we can, maybe move on to Smallville.
Absolutely.
Okay, on the show you play the Martian Manhunter, a.k.a. John Jones. As a lifelong fan of comics yourself, how does it feel being chosen to play one of comics' biggest icons?
Well, it's an incredible honor, actually.
I would imagine.
Not only was it great as an actor to get a job, but I knew that when I went into the audition, I had more information, more history, more knowledge than any other actor. I got 100,000 plus books staring at me at home. So all I need to do is go to my bookshelf and, what did Martian Manhunter do in, DC Showcase number whatever?
Let me geek out. It's number 372.
Bananas.
Yeah.
So I was really honored when they chose me. I was so thrilled because we all grow up, if we're in this game any length of time, wanting to play certain characters. And Martian Manhunter was definitely one of the ones I wanted to play. Maybe not specifically him, but a superhero where I could fly and I could use X-ray vision and I could use all the things that I've dreamt about as a child.
Before Clark, too, before Superman, you were like, hey, this is the way you do it, Junior, all right? Check this out.
A little bit, yeah. I think, they brought me in as his mentor, and I think it was a really good fit.
That's really cool. I like it a lot.
And they've been very, very supportive of my work, and I honor that, and the fans have been incredibly supportive, so I'm lucky.
I'm sitting there waiting, like every show I'm seeing, this character's getting introduced. I'm like, when's Green Lantern going to be there? When's the Flash coming? And everybody's coming, and I heard about Martian Manhunter. I said, wait a minute. I said, how are they going to do this? Are they going to make him with the big brow? Are they going to make him look like a caveman? But you know what, man? I don't know what it is, but you just have this quality about you that's just, it's more than earthly. You just have this presence, and it just fits the character so well.
I appreciate that.
So, they could have picked a better, I don't know who else to pick. Seriously.
I seriously. That. But, again, I'm honored to play John because even though he's from Mars, he's one of the most humane and one of the most in touch with his humanity characters that DC's ever written. And I rather like that. He's humble, he's sage, he's wise, he's just an incredible dynamic character to play.
Well, that's really great stuff to hear. But we can talk about Martian Manhunter. This is pretty much this good old-fashioned fanboy curiosity. Will we ever really see John in his Martian form on the show? Or could you let that slip or no?
They haven't let me know that, but I've told them that I'd pull a Michael Dorn in a minute. You know what I mean? I'd do a Worf. Yeah, I don't mind. Shoot, man, the occipital brow protruding.
I'm telling you, man.
The red bandoliers. Come on.
Put me in the makeup chair for 3 days. I'm ready.
Hey, I've done a ton of Star Trek. So
I was going to get into that later on. Okay, well, let's see. What does the future hold for Martian Manhunter and Smallville? Can you give away any hints?
They haven't told me anything, and that's pretty smart of them because they know I'm a fanboy, and they know I'd say, I'm going to be blah, 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 blah. Did I say that?
Don't tell anybody.
So they know not to tell me, but the way they're building him up, the last episode I did, which was a couple weeks ago, Bulletproof, they're kind of tying me more into the mix with Clark and Oliver and that whole thing, which I rather like. Right. And I think that the show needs to kind of grow up in a way. and not to denigrate the show, but I think that we all want to see Superman or Clark become Superman.
You're getting there now. You can feel it every episode.
Right, and do what we know he becomes, And I think John Jones could be instrumental in helping pull that along. It's like, you're here for a reason.
Yeah, I like the whole mentor thing and the fact that you're both aliens.
Right.
You can relate to each other.
Absolutely, and he is somebody he can turn to who has stepped in these kind of spaces a little bit prior to him and can relate to him about, watch out, humanity's this way, or they have a great fear of the unknown, or whatever. And I think that that's really good for Clark to have.
Yeah, and he was so busy being raised by, mom and pop and all the normal, good old-fashioned family values and be good to your neighbor and all this. And he was really raised as a human, so to be introduced to this other side of him, side he knows he is. He knows deep down that he is an alien, okay? But he just falls in love with humankind, I guess, the other way to say it.
I think he admires their, for lack of a better word, preciousness. We have so many sides to us as human beings. And I think what Clark kind of gravitates to is our better nature.
Oh, definitely.
He appreciates our better nature. And ultimately, he's got to wrestle with that in everything he does.
I don't know. I'm sorry about I don't know. Are you guys ready to take off? Or?
1 more minute.
Okay. I'm sorry, but
no worries, man.
Okay. Well, let's just quickly get to. We'll skip a little bit. Can you tell us how you began your career in voice acting? Do you find it more physical than actual acting work? More hard?
No, I find it easier. It's not as difficult to me. I think walking and talking and embodying the character in 3 dimensions is a little bit more difficult. I think the trick in voiceover acting is to create that impression without actually doing it. So it is a little bit more challenging in that way because you can't use all of your facilities.
It's like the green screen syndrome. You're doing something, but you don't know what's actually going.
See your adversary,
exactly.
know the deal. So ultimately, it's a little bit more freeing because I don't have to dress in wardrobe and get in makeup and all that.
You just be in there in your pajamas,
right,
farted hat on.
Exactly.
It's just chilling in the chair.
I'm with Ugly teacher. You know what I mean? So.
All right. Can you tell us a little about your role in the new animated series Batman: The Brave and the Bold?
I play a couple characters. I play Jonah Hex, and I play Fox, who's the head of the Shadow Clan.
I'm a huge Hex fan. Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so that's coming up in a couple of weeks, and Batman: Brave and the Bold is a more what I call user-friendly Batman. He's not as dark and foreboding as the Batman that my very good friend Kevin Conroy has voiced for many, many years.
Oh, I love this.
He's a phenomenal actor.
He's got it down.
Totally, and they've taken a left turn. They're using characters that aren't mainstream DC characters as Batman's allies.
That's right.
And I really appreciate that. They've got a huge library of and catalog of characters that they really want to bring back into public focus, and these characters are going to be served well by Batman: Brave and the Bold.
You spoke for me definitely. I always love Justice League Unlimited because when are you going to see Rocket Red? When are you going to see Booster Gold? You're not going to see them. So, okay, I guess to just quickly wrap it up so you can get to your panel here. Yeah. Marvel or DC?
As a kid, Marvel. As an adult, gosh, that's tough.
Don't make anybody mad.
Yeah, I'm thinking about my employers. It's got to be DC right now.
I'm not going to tell, okay? We'll edit that part out.
As a kid, as a fanboy, it was definitely Marvel.
Yeah, I hear
Marvel.
I hear
I'm a total true believer.
All right, man, but listen,
wish we had more time to talk.
Yeah,
we'll do more. We'll do more another time.
It's been an honor, man. Thank you so much.
Really.
You want to hear something awesome about him? I was talking to him, and his representative was giving me, we got to go sign to him. Because he had a Brave and Bold panel he was going to appear on right after mine.
Yeah, he gave you a long interview.
He was running late because he was talking to me. She was like, we got to go, Phil. We got to get out of here. Come on. And he was kind of like, just hang on. I'm still talking to him. Just hang on a minute. And I was like, he's so awesome. And I kind of got into, your presence. He really has like an otherworldly presence about him. It's weird. It's really weird. I was like, you really kind of exude this kind of like alien, not in a bad way, but kind of like this alien force almost. He's almost higher above us somehow. And
hey, you know probably what it is? He's not like this one of these Hollywood prick bags. He's like probably really down to earth, so it probably projects into his performance and his persona.
But he was such a nice guy. Like I was expecting like a bit of an arrogant asshole.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
No offense. I didn't mean that, Mr. Morris. But, I was expecting you're Hollywood. You have other things to do. That kind of a personality. Let's get on with this ragtag interview for a small website and a small podcast. Yeah. Right. But he treated me like I was fucking like Time Magazine, dude. Like he sat there and he talked to me. He joked around with me. He didn't want to leave at the end. He was running late for a panel. He wouldn't want to leave because of little old Fanboy Will. I was so honored. So that was a fantastic experience. You want to hear something funny?
No.
At the end of the interview, when all said and done, I bought at the show an 8x10 glossy of him. I wanted him to sign it for my collection, so I bought it. And since I was such a rush, I'm running up there, and I grabbed one. So after the interview, I said, "Mr. Moore, would you mind signing this for me?" I got this 8x10. He said, "Oh, of course, man, definitely." I didn't have a pen on me. I didn't have a marker on me. Nothing. And he didn't either. Neither did the assistant. Nobody had a pen. So I didn't get the 8x10 autograph. But what was cool is he said, "But I'll definitely take a picture with you."
That's cool.
So his wife walked in, and his wife took a picture of us together. So you'll see that on Fanboy Theater. You'll also see that on the Fanfield podcast.
Oh, cool. You got to shoot me these pictures so I can put them up.
Fanboy Will chilling with the Martian Manhunter. So it's all good.
Excellent.
And let's get on. Well, the rest of the show was kind of tame. After that, I kind of came down off the high of meeting him, and I was like, "Oh, wow, I can't believe that." Patty was probably thinking, "Shut up already." She's looking, I was like, "I still can't believe it." At the end of the day, I got to actually meet, I don't know if you know of a comic called Captain Eli.
No.
It's kind of like an independent comic, and a gentleman by the name of, no relation to Joe, but his name is Jay Piscopo. And he is the creator and artist and head of his company who actually puts out Captain Eli. Captain Eli started out, believe it or not, as a brand of, I think it was either root beer or beer. It was called Captain Eli. That was the name of it. Because it was actually based on one of his, I think it was either his friends or his relatives who had, so I think one of his relatives had somebody who was in the Navy. They had all these stories about him being all these fantastic adventures, and he was like, wow, it'd be cool to base a character on him or something. So, because he was a comic creator and a cartoonist before he came up with Captain Eli, obviously. And Captain Eli is basically like, if you take Johnny Quest, the old series, the original good series, C-Lab, 2020, before it became stupid, stuff like that, and kind of mushed it all together into an action superhero / kind of a cartoon or show or a book. That's what Captain Eli is. It's kind of like an amalgam of all the stuff that was good, kind of like the Barbera era, when they ran stuff in the morning and Saturday morning.
Yeah.
He came up with this character he was a young guy, kind of like Johnny Quest's age, and he just happens to be a genius. And he's an inventor. He invented all kinds of submarines and gadgets. And he goes on all these adventures, and he's got, like fellow friends. And one guy's called Commander X, who is a character he came up with, another original character, who's kind of like a pulp-influenced type guy. He's got the kind of like a Black Hawk style military hat and uniform on, and he's got the diamond mask, like the standard superhero mask, and he's got a gun and a sidearm, whatever. And so he's kind of based on that, and that's kind of further amalgaming into the Hanna-Barbera. So it actually makes for a really good mixture. And he's also got other characters. One's called Sea Ghost, who looks like a combination of kind of like Nexus and Space Ghost. I very remember Nexus, Steve Rude, but he kind of looks like him a little bit. But he's really, really cool. I was digging the Sea Ghost a lot. And I talked to him. He was another extraordinarily awesome dude to deal with. He was giving me all kinds of free stuff. He said, "Did you get the free pens?" He gave me the free pen. "Did you get the free sticker?" He gave me the free sticker. "Did you get the free sketch?" He did a sketch in my sketchbook, which I'll have posted on Fanboy Theater and possibly send to a podcast if you want to put it up there.
Well, you should.
It's a Commander X sketch. It's really cool. It did it for me really fast. It was
Send
awesome.
it along.
And I bought a Miko-style Commander X action figure from him, which I also took pictures of, so then he signed that for me, so I could post that too. So that was my Saturday coming to a close. Sunday was a little boring. Didn't do much on Sunday. Just kind of just did my thing strolling around again. Didn't really talk to anybody. Sunday was more of buy as much shit as you can before you leave. That was basically what Sunday was. I was like, all right, now's the time to spend the loot. So I started buying figures and all that, comics. I got a huge fucking stack of comics I bought that day, and got some great deals. Hit the 50-cent bins, and just got a ton of shit, And then at the end of the day, I came across the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle panel of guys sitting in Artist Alley. And I saw Peter Laird there. I knew him from, seeing him before on other, websites and stuff like that. I said, oh, there's Mr. Laird. I said, and quick interview with him.
Hello, here today with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle co-creator Peter Laird. Am I pronouncing it right? So I don't want to be rude. Is it Laird?
Laird, that's correct.
Okay, very good. So I got it right the first time. And what are you guys promoting here today? I know there's a lot of turtle stuff going on all over the city. What's going on today?
Well, I and my friends Steve Levine, Michael Dooney, Jim Lawson, Eric Talbot, and Steve Murphy, all from Mirage Studios, we're here in Artist Alley at the con, signing, sketching, talking, shaking hands and stuff. And Playmates Toys has a booth over on the other side of the hall where they're displaying some of the toys that are coming up. And I think there's a new video game that's being promoted. There are costume turtles running around.
That's what we like.
Yeah.
Always enjoy the costume people.
Yeah.
How can you hate them? How can you hate them? All right, but so it's nice talking to you, sir.
Yeah,
and best of luck with everything, and have a good day.
Thank you.
And you too, sir.
Yep.
Thank you so much for your time, guys.
Sure.
He was kind of getting up ready to leave, and I said, I'm sorry to keep you guys leaving? And I would let him go, obviously. They said, oh, man, you want to talk? I said, oh, yeah, definitely, interview real quick. And he said, yeah, sure. So I got to speak to him really quickly, and you'll hear that. And that was a cool experience, too, because I love the Turtles to death. I think they're awesome. And that was very, very cool. So I say to sum it up, I think this was a lot better than last year. I go as far as saying that.
Give us your final thoughts about
My
the
final thoughts.
NYC Comic-Con.
You want me to give you a Jerry Springer style?
Sure.
Two families together. One with a strong need to break itself apart. The other to get back together. Well, one part of the family is about separation, and the other part is about getting back together. It's not going to work. Trust your heart and your feelings. Take care of yourself and each other. That's Jerry Springer right there.